Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have swatches for you from the Not a Worry in the World collection from Painted Phalanges. So this collection goes on sale April 17th. In the description box below, I will link the Painted Phalanges site, I will link their Instagram page, I will link my Instagram page where you can see more swatches of everything from this collection. So there are 8 new polishes here today. I'm really excited because a lot of them are inspired by country songs. Let's go ahead and get started. So first we have Island in the Sun, and this is a very light taupey base with a shifty shimmer that goes from gold to orange to pink, and it does have these tiny little red micro glitter. So here's our first coat of Island in the Sun. This covers pretty well here on this first coat. It's not completely opaque, so I am going to go in for a second coat. Formula on this is really good, really smooth, not too thick, not too thin. It goes on nice and evenly as well. You do get a ton of these little glitters out and makes it look like a nice, beautiful speckled manicure. So here's our second coat, and that does cover completely in 2 coats for me. This one is going to dry down pretty dull, so you will want a glossy top coat to finish this off. But all of these little speckled pieces that are in here don't dry textured, and they're not difficult to remove. So there is 2 coats. So up next we have Toes in the Sand, and this is a tan jelly. It has gold flakies, bronze and copper glitter, gold micro glitter, copper hollow glitter, bronze and taupe micro flakies, and a golden summer sunshine shimmer. So here's our first coat of Toes in the Sand. This one's pretty sheer here on this first coat. It is very close to my skin color though, so I'm going to build it up, but I'm not sure how opaque it'll look on every skin tone, if that makes sense. You do get a good amount of glitter out without having to do anything special to this, and I feel like most of your opacity is going to come from that glitter. So the second coat is building up nicely. It's still not completely opaque though, but most of this opacity, like I said, is coming, I think, from this gold flake that's in here. So here's our third coat, and that does cover completely in 3 coats for me. This one is going to dry down dull, so you will want a glossy top coat to finish this off. This is going to dry relatively smooth, a glossy top coat to finish this off for that reason as well though, and a little bit of scrubbing. So there is 3 coats. So up next we have Pour Me a Hurricane, and this is a gold to orange to rose multichrome, and it also has a maroon to plum to blue multichrome pigment as well. So here's our first coat of Pour Me a Hurricane. This covers pretty well here on this first coat as well. It's not completely opaque, and the color can get a little bit deeper, so I am going to go in for a second coat. But again, the formula on this is very smooth and easy to work with, no running or pulling or staining. So here's our second coat, and that does cover completely in 2 coats. Depending on your application, you may need to go in for a third coat of this one, or if your nail line is super white. This is going to dry down smooth, but a little dull and not difficult to remove. So there is 2 coats. Up next we have Aloha Oe, and this is a creamsicle-y orange. It has a gold to orange to pink shifting shimmer, and it also has green to orange to red shifting flakies. So here's our first coat of Aloha Oe. So this covers pretty good on the first coat for being a yellow. It's not completely opaque and it's a little bit patchy, so I am going to go ahead and build this one up. Formula on this is really good. Again, smooth, easy to work with, no complaints on the formulas across the board. So here's our second coat, and that's building up well in 2 coats, but it's not completely opaque, so I am going to go in for a third coat. If you worked a little bit thicker, you might get this opaque in 2 coats. Again, you get a ton of these little speckled glitters out without having to do anything special, and those are not going to dry textured, and they're not going to be difficult to remove. So here's our third coat, and that does cover completely in 3 coats for me. This one is also going to dry down just slightly dull, so you will want a glossy top coat. So there is 3 coats. Up next we have Is the Tide Gonna Reach My Chair, and this is a Caribbean blue base. It's full of gold flakies, blue glitter, and gold shimmer. So here's our first coat of Is the Tide Gonna Reach My Chair. So this one is more of like a jelly, so it is a little bit more sheer than the previous polishes we've looked at. Formula, again, is very easy to work with. You don't get a ton of these blue glitters out. I do wish there were either more or none at all. So here's our second coat, and that is building up well in 2 coats, but again, it's not completely opaque. And I love the 3-dimensional look of the flakes that are in here against the jelly base. It looks very oceanic, and I think that is absolutely beautiful. So this covers pretty much in 3 coats. It's definitely not completely opaque for me. I don't mind the little bit of nail line that's in this one though. You will do a little bit of scrubbing for this one, but not much. So there is 3 coats. So up next we have Come Away With Me, and this is a periwinkle blue base. It has a purple to magenta micro flaky, a purple to blue micro flaky, a purple glitter, and a green to gold duochrome shimmer. So here's our first coat of Come Away With Me. So this one is very sheer here on this first coat. It could potentially double as a topper if you worked in thinner and even coats. Formula on this is again smooth and easy to work with, no complaints there. So here's our second coat, and that's building up in 2 coats, but it is still just a wash of color on the nail. This is not one that I think anybody could reach full opacity with unless you were willing to do maybe 5 coats or so. Again, you don't get a ton of this glitter out, but you do get more than the previous polish. So I'm tapping out at 3 coats here. This is what 3 coats looks like. You will want a glossy top coat to finish this off, smooth it out, and make it nice and glossy. And this is going to take a little bit of scrubbing to remove. So there is 3 coats. So up next we have Do Whatcha Wanna, and this is a deep purple jelly base with a bunch of different size purple glitters. It also has gold flakies, gold glitter, a golden hollow micro glitter, and some lime to gold shifting flakes. So here's our first coat of Do Whatcha Wanna. So this one is in a jelly base as well. That's a little bit on the sheer side, but the formula on this is really smooth, easy to work with. The glitter that's in here, I didn't have to do any kind of fishing or swirling to get them out, and they do look so cute built up in the purple jelly base. So here's our second coat, and that's building up in 2 coats, but it is still a little bit patchy, so I am going to go in for a 3rd coat to try to smooth it out. I actually recommend not working in extremely thin coats for this one because it will get super patchy on you. So here's our 3rd coat. That does cover completely in 3 coats. This is going to dry down dull and textured, so a glossy top coat and a peel off base coat. Because there's a good amount of glitter in here, it will be pretty difficult to remove. So there is 3 coats. And lastly for today, we have Sail Away, and this is a mix of different size pink, orange, copper, blue, purple, and gold glitter. This also has some silver holographic micro glitter, and this is in a clear base. So here I'm going to build up Sail Away on its own, and then I will layer 1 coat over black and white. Formula is fantastic. You get a good amount of glitter out. I didn't have to do any swirling or fishing for this. I do love how this looks built up on its own as just kind of like a natural clean manicure. This is going to dry very textured, so you will want a glossy top coat to finish this off, and most definitely a peel off base coat because removal is quite tricky. So there is 1 and 3 coats. There are a lot of good things in this collection, but my favorite is Island in the Sun. This reminds me of like a sandy beach. It's really, really beautiful. The sandy like base color is nice, but then you have the little added orangey kind of like sunshiny looking glitters. I think it's really, really beautiful. It's really unique in my collection. It had a great 2-coat formula. I love this one, so Island in the Sun is my favorite. And guys, that is it. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of this collection. Let me know if you plan on picking any of them up, and let me know what your favorite was. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe if you'd like to see more from me, and I will talk to you again next time.